Let's have a beautiful experience. In this video, we're going to talk about if you can be spiritual and still consume alcohol, why they call alcohol spirits, and how to raise your vibration. It's a beautiful thing. Alright, before we get started here, please do me a huge favor. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and follow and add me on Snapchat and Instagram. I go by Jesus Detroit and Young Dago on Snapchat. So in this video, I really want to tell you guys that you can still be a spiritual, enlightened person and consume alcohol. Now, are you going to be a monk on top of a mountain and home type? I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is you can be aware of choosing your own path, because essentially that's what spirituality is. It's about finding your way. Religion, there's a quote out there that they say, religion, you're going off of, what they're telling you to go after, and spirituality is finding your own way. And, to each their own on whether you should consume or how much alcohol you should have in your life, what kind of drugs you should do. I'm not against anything that anybody chooses, but you got to understand what makes you the best you. Is this helping you out? Is the thing you got to really ask yourself. Because if you're drinking every day and it's becoming problematic and you're essentially doing it to just go down some type of rabbit hole of, this is how I just vibe out at the end of the day, and I'm waking up the next morning and I'm drinking myself to sleep. That's no good for nobody, and that is a very, that's a man-made mind prison, you know what I mean? And you don't need to be in that, and alcohol and drugs and all that stuff can be, beneficial. It can definitely help you out. And I'm not telling anybody out there that they should do drugs or alcohol. I don't condone it, but I'm not against it. So remember that. So if you're going to drink, if it's helping you out, if it's making you feel good, that's a beautiful thing. But you might have to reevaluate your friends and what type of crew that you're hanging around, what kind of tribe your vibe's all in, because a lot of these spiritual people tend to not drink alcohol. You're going to see however many people tell you about why they don't smoke weed, why they don't drink alcohol, why they don't do drugs, and why they only do plant-based medicine. Yeah, I do ayahuasca. Yeah, it's free and liberating, I'm sorry, I just had to break it up a little bit, because one of the keys to life is to always be able to smile and have fun with it. We're only here for, whatever this existence is and this experience we're going to have. Let it be beautiful. If you got to have a few beers to put some cheer in you, let's do it, But I'm just saying, if it's taking you away from the present, taking you away from the moment, and if it's just spiraling you down some path of, all right, we're drinking today, and, it's stopping you from, going to the gym, it's stopping you from making, better choices in your life as far as diet, as far as career, and it's just one of the catalysts to why you're not moving on in life, then it's definitely something that you should give up. And if you know it's something that you should give up, then you're your own, you're your own person that's going to tell you that you should give up. So if you want to quit, probably be the best decision that you will ever make. And then you could find it along the way, like, what, I can handle it again. Because, I've been in AAs before, and I've talked to all kinds of walks of life, man. I come from a unique background and upbringing myself, and I met a whole bunch of different kinds of people, that are, daily alcoholics, people that feel powerless to the alcohol. And, when you go to like an AA, I love the fact that there's a support group, but what I don't like is the message in its entirety. And I mean, like, saying that you're weak and powerless is something that I do not agree with, man. I want everybody to know that you're powerful, you're beautiful, and you can achieve anything that you want, anything that you know that you can make happen, you will make happen. So that's a beautiful thing, you know what I mean? And, I know not everybody's just got that, hop out of bed, let's be a doer type of belief, but you got to start somewhere, man. You got to at least let yourself have the idea that you can. At least fantasize about being able to instead of living with that not being able to. You know what I'm saying? So at least just accept that, you know what, maybe I am powerful. At least just, give yourself the permission to at least think that. It ain't going to hurt nothing to at least try, because I believe in you. I believe that you could do anything, man. I mean, this is a beautiful day and age to be alive. You got a whole bunch of just information that's at your fingertips. You got a whole bunch of different vibrations and frequencies and a whole bunch of just different beliefs to just be able to just entertain yourself with. And, this is beautiful. This isn't like, if you want to get real religious or whatever, I mean, I find that we're no more different than the story of people walking around in the desert talking about, the sun being God, you know what I mean, or whatever, man. Nobody has any more idea than we ever knew, and your all truths are true, and there's no more true than the one that you know. So I believe in what you believe, and as long as we're not hurting anybody and we're looking out for the common good and we're looking out to just, natural human inclination is to just, be beautiful and just help people and just be happy, man. Whatever puts you in a positive zone is really what this is all about. And that's why I want to talk about, having a couple beers, and, that's something that I do daily. It's something that I appreciate, I don't abuse it, because I know alcohol is very simple to abuse, like, but for some people, they get to that point where it's just like, you get to that high and you want to keep going, you want to keep going, you want to keep going. But the way I look at it, with any type of high, there's like the cutoff, man. You're going to rise to the top of the mountain and then fall off. I always say it's like this. I always say alcohol is like a bridge, like my analogy, you know what I mean? Like, I find that depending on your ability and, how much you can consume and what you're drinking or whatnot, you're going to have a bridge that you're going to be able to party on. You can dance on that bridge. You can float on that bridge. You can just, enjoy yourself on the bridge. But when you get to the end of the bridge, you know what I'm talking? When you fall off that bridge, when you're in that zone, it's like the bridge is out. And that's when, like, we're talking about blackouts. We're talking about, just a whole bunch of other type of spirit realms that can enter your body. And I know that might sound real esoteric or whatever, but there's a reason that alcohol is called spirits. And it's only like, a certain amount of proof. I believe it's, I think it's after 30 proof. Don't quote me, which is 15% alcohol is when they start considering it a spirit. But honestly, they can all take you to the spirit realm, even a beer, and I look at beer as more of a, it's food, it's a beverage, it's got calories, it's got carbs, it's got life, it's got love. Well, they all got love if you put it in, So, when you got, when you're dealing with alcohol, whether it's beer or whatever, like, you can essentially turn it into the spirit realm. And when you're doing shots, that's why, like, something that's 80 proof, 40% alcohol, we're talking that you're going to be able to get to that spirit realm a whole lot quicker than drinking beers. Now, depending on how quickly you drink these beers and, this, that, or the other, or whatever factor that you want to, figure into this, everybody can eventually get to that blackout spirit realm type of zone, which is why, when you have like those days after, like, anybody that's drinking real hard, you might even, you might know what I'm talking about. And on, like, I had these experiences in my life, and I could tell you this, like, I never enjoyed them. It's like, I remember that my first hangover was, I was in Saturday school. A little bit, little just history lesson for you, and I'm not gonna go too deep into that. I mean, that's not what this is about, man. This is about letting you know that a spirit realm is very, achievable, and you don't want to be in it. All right, so stay within your buzz. You know what I mean? And I know it's easy to fall off that bridge, but be aware. Like, if you're partying every day and you're with people that are gonna take you off the bridge, sometimes you're gonna have to go find a new bridge to dance on. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like on Mortal Kombat, you remember the one with the guy by the fire across from the original bridge? whatever. I don't, like, I'm sorry I'm going off on tangents, you know what I mean? Just find your new bridge, have some fun, because this is all about love. And, you know, when you're able to just enjoy, you know, really just respect your beverage, that's when you can really just enjoy life, because essentially you're respecting yourself. It's, you know, self-discipline is one of the best factors in your life that's going to improve everything that you do. So if you can discipline yourself with drinking, you know, whether you don't drink or whether you're able to just be like, you know what, I'm going to stop drinking, which is kind of like, it kind of correlates into my intermittent fasting and fasting. Like, you know, I go, like I said, I go 20 hours, you know, 15 to 20 hours daily. I go without food, just, you know, coffee and green tea, black coffee, you know, and, you know, I do like prolonged fasts every, you know, season or whatever. And that to me, you know, really sums up like how certain people are with alcohol, because, you know, you can either, you know, not think about food all day and have it at the end, or you're going to be able to balance it out and ride that bridge. You're going to be able to just, like, you know, be able to have like a small meal, be able to know what kind of meal doesn't have too many carbs and too much fat. Just like you're going to know about how many, you know, drinks and shots you shouldn't have when, you know, you put it, like, if you're able to put it all off at the end of the day, or you're able to just, you know, consume a little bit of alcohol, you know what I mean? Or consume enough to where you know your buzz, is all I'm saying. You know, that's really what it comes down to. If you have that type of ability, that is a discipline, and you know not to go over it. And I feel like everybody, you know what, maybe every once in a while you want to go off the bridge, you know? I mean, it's like the Lost Boys, you know, like when they were like, the guy was hanging on the bridge, and he's like, come on, Michael. And he made him, like, you know, let go, and the next thing you know, he's like, oh, he comes back as a vampire, you know? I know I'm giving you a lot of, like, old school references or whatever, but, you know, if you ever seen Lost Boys, that's you know, it's a great flick, you know. And that one guy that jams out the saxophone in the beginning, just like, he's ripped, man. He's a badass. So, you know, give that guy, you know, just check it out. If you did, you seen it. And if you didn't, then whatever, it still exists. And we're talking about spirit realms right now. All right, we're talking about why you should be able to appreciate your beverage, and why you shouldn't just let everybody tell you, like, oh yeah, alcohol's a, you know, this is a prison and it's not good for you, and it's you can't be spiritually enlightened if you drink. And I think that is all depicted on another person's opinion. So if you believe that you can do it, I know that you can do it. You know, I have vivid dreams. I have a very clear pineal gland. You know what I mean? And I try not to, you know, consume all the fluoride and barium and aluminum. And, you know, I went down that holistic rabbit hole of, you know, and established that you pretty much can't go without getting something that's going to clog up your pineal gland, unless you're living on a mountain somewhere, you know, just doing the, you know, the Om, like monk monastery type thing. And that's not everybody's journey, man. You know, I mean, there's more to life than wanting to do that. If you find that's your purpose, that's your calling, go for it. But if you're somebody that wants to just enjoy life, and, you know, in this, I guess you can call it the 3D realm, the, you know, the realm of going down the street that you're going to see bars, and, you know, you got beer and liquor pretty much every other corner, and you want to be able to partake in this, you know, enjoyment, you know, you should be able to enjoy it. I mean, it's here, you know, but I'm just saying, don't abuse it. And I know that not everybody has that ability, but I'm just telling you that you're stronger than you know. And that's what I really reiterate to people that are in AA. You are stronger than you know. So stop letting everybody tell you that it's Jesus is the reason. Well, this Jesus is telling you something, that you're powerful. Because if it's through him, in him, with him, then it's within you. And I'm just saying that anything that you want is your right to choose. And if you want to believe that you're powerless, you are. If you want to believe that you're powerful, you are. Because we're all just stars. You know what I mean? And a beer, one of my favorite things to, you know, consume on the daily. It's a beverage to me. I don't look at it as, you know, like you got people that talk all this, you're a beer belly, and, you know, it makes you fat and this and that. It does not do that. It's got so many, like, wrong stereotypes, and I'm just here to kind of break it up a bit, because you don't have to be anything other than you want, you know what I mean? And alcohol, drinking beer every day is not going to make you fat. It's the decisions you make with the beer. It's going into that spirit realm that I'm talking about, And when you're in that spirit realm, think about these blackouts, all right? That's when the real spirit realm kicks in, all right? Because that's when you do stuff that you didn't even know you did. You're making phone calls the next day. They're like, do you remember doing this? And you're like, no. And like, do you remember when you were over? No. Do you remember how you got home? No. So that's a spirit realm. When you don't know, you are on some type of automatic magic drive that is getting you somewhere, and you don't recall how you do it. So there's something that's flowing through you, making you do it. And they have, like in the real esoteric belief, they say that when you go past, my theory of the bridge, when you're really out, like in that alcohol zone, when you're really buzzed up and hammered up real good, that's when there's all these spirits that are like flying around, right? This is just a belief, right? There's all these spirits and belief in this world right now of what's going on. They're over there, over here, and they see somebody that had one too many beers over here. So they're going to be like, you know what? Let me go take a ride in that for a minute. And that's what happens. They go right into you. And it's not just you that's controlling the wheel anymore. You got some other spirit that's driving this, because there's a light. Whether you believe in religion or not, you cannot deny that there is a light that's within inside of us that's driving this. And like, I make the analogy, if you ever seen somebody die in front of you, or just like die the next day, like, one day you see your grandfather, and you see the smile on him, and the next day you see him in the casket, that's it's deep. Rest in peace. All right, to anybody that lost anybody, that's the truth. But I know that they're gone to where they belong, But the light that's inside of you, that's inside of me, is inside of it's inside of the universe, is all I'm saying. And I know that like I said, like going back to like when you see somebody the next day from if they're alive and then they're in the casket, you see two different faces. You see a body without the light anymore, so it's not the same body. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you never see like like whoever like Mr. Jones will just say me, yeah. No, I'm not even gonna do it. Mrs. Jones. I'm sorry, man, but you gotta have some fun on that one. But anyways, like, let's say you see Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones, and they're just you see them one day, and next day you see them in the casket. They don't look like the same Mr. or Mrs. Jones. I'll tell you that. You see the light sucked out of them. So these lights are floating around essentially every which way that we don't even know about. And in the spirit realm, this esoteric type of belief, you're cranked up, you're hammered up real good. It's going to want to take you for a ride, man. And wherever that takes you, man, who knows? That's why a lot of bad decisions are made while being drunk, but a lot of great decisions could be made too. A lot of, that's why, like I said, the bridge, it's not about going beyond it and having somebody like a bad spirit ride you. Because you know what? I don't want to think that they're all bad. Maybe like somebody's like, let's go give this guy a ride for a minute. Let's see what this thing can do. And I feel like that's what happens to a lot of people in these situations. Like, it's not like, or they're just able to just take it. It's kind of like Ghost with another reference, man. We're going Miss Oda May and Swazy on man. Roadhouse. But Ghost, one of my favorite movies. But I mean, if you really watch that and you see how, Mrs. Oda May, Whoopi Goldberg, like, you see how those lights can just come in here and like take over her body for a little bit. That's what we're talking about. That's the spirit realm. And if you get one of those dark demon spirits, like the one that went and took Carl, or not, that took Willie, excuse me. You remember those shadow people that came out of the back, and it was just like this. When I was a kid, this scared the hell. It scared me. I just remember watching it. Just the shadow people, like. And then you see Willie just get pulled back. Oh my, it was intense, man. One of my favorite movies. That and the guy in the subway, get off my train. You know, so why? You know, like I said, you don't have to watch any of these movies. I'm just giving you some knowledge and analogies that I can, you know, throw into our life to help everybody with this. So hearing that thing behind me is letting me know that it's time for me to break this fast yet again. You know, I'm gonna dance on my bridge right now. Coors Light, I say salute. It's a beautiful thing. You gotta love it. So if you guys haven't joined me in the Big Cock Consciousness, where we teach people how to grow their penises bigger, wider, thicker, longer, stronger, and harder, please do that, because I'm a spiritual mentor, I'm a coach, and I want to help people be their best versions, you know, and that's what I'm all about. So hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, you know, you see it all flying around over here. Hope you guys have a beautiful experience. I'll be seeing you guys around. I love you guys. Take it easy.